and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. Well, here we are, first weekend in August. Can you believe it? I can't believe that we're here already. Part of that is because we haven't really had summer weather. Let's not mention much more about that. But I don't know, I just think it's flown this year. But that doesn't mean to say that the season is over by any stretch of the imagination. I haven't even harvested any tomatoes yet. I haven't harvested any peppers yet. I haven't harvested any onions yet. So there's plenty of things that are in that I will start harvesting soon, hopefully. And seed sowing hasn't finished yet. I'm now going to sow quite a number of things actually and get them started. Most of them are successional sowings, things such as lettuce and spring onions and so on, but there's a variety of other things that I'm going to pop in, so I'll show you that just shortly. And there's always plenty to be done in the garden, to sort of make space for new things to be planted out, to keep on top of weeds, etc, etc. I'm a happy chappy because this is the start of a 2-week break from work. So I'm going to have lots more time to work in the garden. I'm not going to be at home every day, of course. We're going to be doing some exciting bits and pieces during our 2 weeks off, but to be fair, I find being in the garden quite exciting anyway. So yeah, so hopefully I'm going to get lots done, and I'll video as much as I can just so that you can get a feel for, I think it's going to be quite a bit of a transformation over the next couple of weeks. And I'll take you along with me in that as well. I'm just looking down there at the entrance to the chicken run, and there's a little baby robin. There's a number of robins. There's one over there as well. You might have been able to hear that. There's 2, maybe 3 young robins that are floating about the garden, and they're a bit like the adult robins. They aren't shy. So I'll see if I can get any footage. It's sort of hiding around the corner at the minute, but yeah, it's lovely having them around, I have to say. Anyway, let me get started, and we'll get some stuff sown. I'll show you around, and I'll start doing a bit of transformation work in this garden so that hopefully it will look substantially nicer and more structured by the time we get to the end of this year than it was compared to the end of last year. At this time of year, the top of the small chicken run becomes a little area that I can put seedlings and stuff that I've sown but don't need to go indoors, basically. So there's a variety of things here. There's some lettuce that will go out in the not too distant future. Over at the far side there, there's beetroot that I've sown. I sowed that actually just yesterday, so it's fine for an August sowing. And here's some stuff that I sowed a few weeks ago. There's some parsley there. Here's some rocket and lettuce that I popped in yesterday, and then there's some little beetroots here that I'll pop into a bed, and a whole variety of things. There's some swede. It's called tweed swede. Yeah. So now I'm going to get some more things sown. Okay, here's my trusty tub of seeds that I'm going to be sowing. Most I'm going to put into cell trays because I don't necessarily have spaces available for them just now, and they'll get dotted around the place as spaces become available, and there's a couple that will be going into their own pots. excuse the noise, that is Brenda hen shouting that she's thinking about laying. So what am I going to put in? Well, some lettuce. This is Marvel of Four Seasons. I also have lettuce Verdafoglia Riccia, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, more lettuce. More, that's pak choy, actually, pak choy. Spinach, perpetual spinach. I'm going to pop this in a pot just directly sown, and hopefully we'll get some nice spinach through the autumn and even into the winter. Brenda? Shush. Carrots. I'm going to pop in some carrots. These are Eskimo. These are fine to sow up until October. So these will go in a 30-litre pot, and I'll just use compost that I saved from potatoes. Some Swiss chard. I think I'll just pop these in some cell trays, and I'll pop them out when they're grown a little bit into whatever spaces I have in the garden. Some spring onions or scallions. The lovely Ali at My Rusty Garden sent me these. I've already got some in with the, excuse me, Brenda. Gee whiz. Anyway, yeah, I've got some of these already in with my lettuce, but I'm going to pop some more of these, probably in cells, so I've got little bunches of them that I can pop around interplanting. Here's another lettuce. This one is Lobo Joint Green Cos lettuce. I think that's how you say it, I don't know. And then here we've got a broccoli. It's a 60-day broccoli actually. So I should get some broccoli within 60 days. And it's little florets, you know, little dinky florets rather than a large sort of head like I would get in Calabrese. And finally, I'm going to try this cauliflower at this point. Now, this is all year round. We'll see if we can get some cauliflower on the go. Okay, let's start off with getting some of these scallions in. Redbeard. I'm just reading what it's saying here. For the richest colour, plant in late summer to early fall, so it's exposed to cold weather. The flavour is mild and the dark green leaves are tender. Well, perfect timing then. So let's just see, there's a few more in there. So typical little onion seeds. I'm just going to put a few in each of these cells. I'll just move those about a wee bit. With the idea that I will just pop them out as a clump into different areas in the garden. Okay, I'm going to get lettuce into this one. Got probably 4 rows of lettuce. I think I've got 4 varieties. One, spinach. 1, 2, 3. 3, so I'll put whichever one I've got most seeds off. I will give 2 rows. Right. Which I think is going to be Marvel 4 Seasons. So I'll just put just a small smattering of seeds in each of these cells, and the idea is once they grow I will just split them and transplant them. You know, actually I've got lots of these seeds. I'm just going to make the whole lot Marvel 4 Seasons, just to... I can never have enough lettuce because as well as me eating it, the chickens and quail do. So there we go. I won't bore you with a lot of the other seeds because I'm sowing them in the same way, but I'll show you when I do the carrots and the spinach. Okay, I've prepared this little maybe 20 litre pot, maybe 15 litre pot. It did have... Oh, Jemima's now announcing that she wants to lay. Hello Jemima. So yeah, I've prepared this pot. It did grow some potatoes this year, so the compost is spent potato compost, and I have revitalised it hopefully with some fish blood and bone. And now I'm just going to sprinkle some of these perpetual spinach seeds. Jemima, thank you. So I'm going to sprinkle some of these perpetual spinach seeds on top and just grow on in here as a cut and come again crop. So I've put a reasonable amount in here. I think it's quite old seed this, so there we go. I'll just cover it over Jemima and give it a water. I actually watered the compost fairly well before I put the seeds on, but I'll water again from the top to dampen down the compost at the top. So this I'm going to put over where the potatoes have been growing, and some still are. I'll put a little cloche or something over the top so that the chickens don't get in, particularly when the seedlings start to show. Okay, I have this 30 litre tub that I did have potatoes in. Harvested those potatoes now. So I'm going to use this along with the spent compost for my carrots. Now I have at towards the bottom of the pot added some fish blood and bone and mixed that well through. I've just left the top without much in the way of nutrients. I'm hoping that that'll encourage the carrots to reach down, the taproot to reach down and maybe get some longer carrots. That's the idea anyway. Now I haven't sieved this compost. It's fairly friable and lump free because of the potatoes being in there before. So, and I hope I hope I've removed all the little teeny tiny potatoes that remain once you've harvested, or else I'm going to be getting a little carrot and potato combo in here. But let me bring you closer and show you how I sow my carrots in pots. Okay, so as I said, I've got some compost in here, 30 litre tub, and what I do is I use one of these little 9cm pots and I use it to make little areas in the compost just by doing this. You might not be able to see it so well in the camera, but I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little indentations in the compost, and into each of these indentations I'm going to pop a few carrot seeds. So in effect I'm growing a few carrots next to one another, but with gaps in between. And the idea of that is that for each of these little clumps, if you like, I'll be able to either thin, probably not thin actually, but wait until I get a sort of edible sized carrot, and I can harvest that, giving the rest a little bit more space to grow on. I did this and do this with my parsnips to great effect as well. So, that's too many seeds. Oh, breeze has just started now. Okay, so I'm just going to, well, that's 4. I don't really want any more than 4 in each little station. I think this is quite old seeds, so I'm sort of, oh, that was 5 there. It is quite old seeds, so I don't know how many of these will actually germinate, so that was far too many. We shall see. But they should be fine in the autumn. Eskimo by name, Eskimo by nature. Right. I may, if these germinate, okay, I may actually do another pot just in a couple of weeks' time, want to see if these germinate or not, and that'll just give me another little batch. So all I need to do now is just sprinkle a little bit of compost over the top, just water in. I have watered the compost before I started this, and I'm going to pop these over along the fence line where my potato pots used to be, because there is some protection there, and there's some weed suppressant fabric down to stop any weeds growing up around the pot, which is the really annoying thing about using pots. So yeah, I'll do that, and that's the last thing I'm going to sow today, or certainly the last thing I'm going to sow in pots or you know, in cell trays and such like. I may do the odd thing direct, but we'll see as we go along. This is one of my strawberry beds. It's in the middle of the growing area of the garden, which at the moment is being taken over by the single seed potato challenge potatoes. But anyway, this bed is a bit of a mess now. I did get a few strawberries from it, but the plants are quite small, or were quite small. I had popped some other bits and pieces in here, but then, such as some beetroot, and I can see some nicotiana there. The chickens did get in and have a good old scratch around and damage certain things. That's why I put this net over. But the net it's a bit cosy now for everything in there. So I'm going to take the net off. I'm going to tidy out this bed, get rid of the weeds that I see, see what the status of the strawberries are, and see if there's any more space for any other little interplantings in here, since the strawberries have had their moment for the year. So let me see what I can make of this bed, which is a little bit of a mess at the minute. I'm afraid this nicotiana is going to have to be ripped. Right. just got my thicker gloves because I can see a thistle here. Right. Stinking ceiling, right. You got something interesting there, have you? Okay, I actually have done a bit of a weed and a tidy up in here, but and so there's certainly not any more room for things. I do have some beetroots in here growing fairly well. There's a nasturtium that's a bit mad, so I've cut it back a little bit. And I didn't have the heart to take that Nicotiana, oops, sorry. I didn't have a heart to take that Nicotiana out. I'll just leave it in there to flower and, excuse me, and take it out later on. Now I've got this little fig tree. The variety is Dory or Dorie, and I'm going to pot this up now. It's a dwarf fig, so it's, you know, it's fine in a pot. In fact, it will do well in a pot. It likes to have its roots constricted, if you know what I mean, just to help it along and hopefully see it fruiting next year. So it looks fairly healthy. So I'm now going to, oh, now girls, out you get. I've got this nice big pot. I did have a dahlia growing in this, but it did not thrive, so I've pulled it out. So there's some compost in there right now. I've also got some what they call mature plant compost to put in, which has got a lot of John Innes in it. So I'm going to be putting a lot of that into this this tub as well, and that should suit the tree fine. There we go. As you can see there, or hopefully you can, it's a lot more sandy, the mature plant compost. Here it is here. It's John Innes number 3 mature plant compost. I'll give that a nice water. Now it's sitting up here against the fence at the moment. It's ultimately going to go towards the back of the garden, but I'm going to be clearing, if I just go up here by the apples, yeah, I'm going to be clearing all of that stuff soon, and I'm going to be putting some plastic down just to stop it coming back, and it then means I can get my trees along here just behind the 2 apples, and they won't get infringed upon by weeds. So I'm not going to put the tree back there. I've actually got another 2 trees to pot up now. I'll show you those as well, and yeah, they'll live up here. Now the reason I'm able to do all of this stuff is what is missing? What is missing from this space? The bees, the 2 beehives are no longer there. Last weekend, Tom and I moved the bees to an apiary just about 20 minutes drive away, where a friend of ours has his bees as well. And it just means that all of this stuff we can reclaim. It's going to take a bit of an effort. And there's going to be lots more garden space. And I think I mentioned in my last video that I'm going to have a nice shrub bed up here, and then hopefully eventually I'll get a couple of more metal raised beds. But there is quite a fair space here when we get this all these weeds cut back. But if I just look down here carefully, I think I'll move round actually. Hang on. there was a few escapee bees, and they come back to, oh, there it is. They come back to where they know, even if they do fly away. So you can see there, that's the remnants of the bees that didn't make it into the hive before I shut it all up and took the bees away. So these girls, these are just living out their days, going foraging, coming back and huddling together for a bit of warmth, and they will just gradually die off, which all worker bees do. It's sad, but it's just life, I guess. Can you see some white there? That's actually pollen. It's pollen that they've collected in their little pollen sacs on their legs. So they're still going about their business, even although they don't have any comb, they don't have brood to feed or whatever. But yeah, they will soon disappear, and I'll be able to clear just the remnants of the hive away. That's just a couple of boxes, and we can get all of this organised and utilised. This is the next little tree that I'm going to be potting up. This is a patio plum. It's a patio plum Victoria. Doesn't look great actually. It wasn't cheap. So we'll see how it goes. I'll get it potted up, and hopefully it will thrive. There we go, there's a plum tree next to the fig tree. One more to go. Right, here's my third little patio tree, and this is a cherry called Cordia. So there we have it. Fig, plum, cherry. I just want to keep them alive, and then maybe next year we'll see if we get a tiny bit of fruit from them, or, you know, again, just keep them alive. Okay, I want to show you something else that I've been busy with. If I can just move Jemima out of the way. And hopefully, downstairs, you'll be able to see that all along the side of the path there, right down to the top of the stairs at the bottom of the garden, I've put in some hedging plants. So this is Buxus, and I've got them a trowel length apart, whatever the length of a trowel is, just to, you know, they're not right next door to one another, but it won't take too long before they sort of grow toward one another, and eventually will form a little 30 to 40 centimetre hedge, which is what I want down this side of the garden. I've not done this bit yet. So these are, there's some a couple of paving slabs there leading underneath the arch into the sort of main growing area in the middle of the garden. I need to just move the paving slabs over a little bit, and then I'm going to have hedging either side. But I'm really pleased so far. I don't know how many plants I've used so far. I actually got 75 of these guys, 75 of these little 20 centimetre Buxus plants. They all came in, they weren't bare root, they were in little pots. So I was able to put them in. And the plan is to continue this over the next couple of days when the weather eases. It's got a bit wet. And I will continue it up there, right up to just beyond where Emily is there. So basically all the grass at this side of the garden will have this little hedge just running down. I think it will look really nice. While I'm here, this is my this is one of the little herb patches. The fennel's looking great. Now some more work that's underway. Here's peas, some more pea plants. Not quite ready to harvest yet. I've actually got Oregon sugar pod Mange 2 there, and this is her screen shaft. But behind, you'll see some rather dirty looking pots. These pots are huge. Let me put my arm across it. I'm just trying to work out how I can show you how big this is. Well, you can see there's a chicken there. There's a chicken, there's the pot. I don't know what they would be, 90 litre perhaps. And I got these from the Cancer Research charity shop. $12.99 each. Absolutely fantastic. So my plan is, and they're dirty because I was sort of manhandling the soil before I actually got these positioned. But the plan is to use these as, well, at least one of them, maybe even all of them, as veg beds. Maybe with some flowers interspersed. I have got some leeks that I need to put out. I'm sure I could actually completely utilise one of these for leeks. And there'll be some other, considering the things that I sowed earlier on in this video, there's going to be other things to put out as well. So I could actually potentially use these too. So, yeah, I think what a steal. Really fantastic. One, I'm supporting the Cancer Research campaign, and two, I've got these fantastic pots for me. Excuse the mess at the back, but everything's still underway. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And if I just turn around here, some more work in progress. Well, it actually isn't even in progress. Here's my wooden furniture that has seen better days. So the plan is, when we get some dry weather, to get this all sanded and painted up again. It's fairly substantial. I think the bolts just need a little bit of tightening, and I'm hoping that it'll do another year or two anyway. All sitting at a jointy angle right now, but that's okay. So yeah, another activity to keep me out of mischief. Here's our little robin friend again. Let's see if I can hone in. Hello, Robin. Well, I'm afraid rain stopped play. We were due to get heavy rain today, but managed to get a morning gardening before rain stopped play. But I got quite a lot done. I got seeds in, I showed you around, and I sort of gave you a little idea of some of the plans that I have in the coming weeks and months to try and tame this garden a little bit more. I'd love to hear what you're getting up to just now, and whether rain has stopped play where you are as well. Pop some stuff in the comments, it would be great to hear. But for now, I'll call a halt. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now.